Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. In case you didn't already know, that's the new Ferrari Daytona, and I think it's more designed for work on the track than as a daily drive on the road. As you in the picture there, it's got a 6-point racing harness, which is a bit inconvenient, and for £2 million plus, I wouldn't buy one. For a daily drive, if they had that kind of money, I'd buy a Bugatti Chiron. But anyway, I do like that red colour. That's the only red colour I do like, because naturally it's a Ferrari. Anyway, as those of you who have followed the MGTOW philosophy over the past several years, you will notice that there's been a lot of attacks on it from the leftist and feminist media and on blogs and videos and such like that the leftists and feminists tend to populate. As I showed you last week, there's been some good sides to MGTOW, and it doesn't exactly mean it's a new phenomenon, as I found this. As you can see, it's called the Cameron Journal, and it's titled Marriage and MGTOW, and this was written on October 15th, 2015, or about 6 years ago. It's not exactly a banner waving for MGTOW, but it's more of an understanding of the MGTOW philosophy and why MGTOW is the way it is. The article says it's not a secret that marriage rates are on the decline in developing nations. Here in America, family court laws and the resulting horror stories that you've all read in the comment section on YouTube videos have started to move away from marriage and, in some cases, relationships, period. These men have congregated online and have a name, MGTOW. It's a movement, it's a way of life, it's something to be, it is men going their own way. And then it says, these guys tackle kids, men's rights activists, male feminists and school system, family court, attractiveness and the friend zone. Rather than continue to engage in a culture that seems to not want men, they oblige the culture by removing themselves from dating. It's not that they're not having sex, some do, some don't. Some are MGTOW monks, some guys are not. But they don't engage in traditional relationships and they don't get married. The biggest thing I've noticed is they cherish their freedom. For MGTOW, the freedom, options, choices and lack of emotional entanglement make this way of life preferable. And it finishes off, I think MGTOW is a good idea. Men are learning not just to invest themselves wholly. It should be not to invest themselves wholly in relationships and to give up their whole lives for women. I don't know if that means completely excluding marriage and children entirely, but I think the appeal comes in a simple plea from men, we're people too, which feminists don't seem to understand. But then feminists, especially third-wave feminists, think all guys are misogynists, rapists and thugs. Now, this is just about MGTOW and marriage, which is a continuation of what I've covered the last few weeks. But the one area that hasn't been covered, and that is race. So I had a look around and I found this interesting article. It's, shouldn't do that, Christopher. It's called Quillette, and it was written on the 22nd of May last year, or about 19 months ago. It says, American women of different racial backgrounds are marrying less. Why? And it goes on, before the current crisis, which means the pandemic, many unmarried mothers struggle to support their families. There has been a steady decline in US marriage rates from 65.9% in 1960 to 51.1%. That's just about half of 100% of marriages, a dramatic decline. Despite this overall trend, many commentators continue to focus on the low marriage rate amongst black women, 32% compared to the white rate, 53%. In other words, more white women are getting married than black women. The explanations of much lower marriage black rate are complex and contentious. and then it explains the building the interstate highway system, and the manufacturing transportation went from trains to trucks, and as a result the manufacturing is in outer city parks and not urban areas where the majority of black men used to live. The decline in employment and increased incarnation of young black men led to some social scientists to focus on the lack of marriageable men as the root cause of the lower black marriage rate. But it also points out the education. Look at the education and attainment of men and women can shed some light on marriage market dynamics. Where is it? They found the income of married men is 58% higher, employment rates are 30% higher, and married men are 90% more likely to have a 4-year college degree. Well, as we can see in the recent news articles, there's more women going to American colleges now than there are guys. Though that was probably even more in the black American community than in the white American community. These disparities point to the shortcomings of unmarried men, forcing many women to make compromises if they wish to marry. In other words, women will have to trim down their shopping list. And where is it now? Where is it? There we go. Despite a significant decline in employment and educational gaps, married and unmarried black men, the black female marriage rate still declined by 2% points over the 9-year period. Even though these gaps close, black women may be increasingly unwilling to marry less educated and less employed black men. In other words, it's the white situation with educated white women not wanting to marry a white guy, but with attitude. In addition, black men seem to have a substantial lower propensity to marry than white men. Also, it doesn't mention black women black American women that is, tend to come with an attitude. I've noticed it on various YouTube videos. White women don't have the same attitude as black women. Even Chris Rock pointed that out in one of his shows. That could also be a reason why the majority of MGTOWs started off in the African American community in America, as black guys saw what black women were like and they think, sod that, I'd rather have white pussy than black pussy. And it finishes off, there's also a 1.6% point decline in the marriage rate of white women. That could be the result of third wave feminism and the lopsided college intake. Despite declining the employment gap between married and unmarried white men, this suggests that growing educational gap between white unmarried men and women has a more powerful influence than employment, which is what I covered in previous videos. The educational difference with more women going to college in America than guys. Given the substantial benefits to children from marriage, this is one reason why future public policies should take the educational shortfalls of white men as seriously as those of black men. Well, the politicians in America are not going to do that because more women vote than men. So it's a case of it's a gathering storm, and it's more going into the black community than the white community, but then this storm is crossing over all racial lines. Hence the name of the article. American women of different racial backgrounds are marrying less. And the reason why they're marrying less is they're just as picky as they were before, and with the college system in America skewed more in favour of women than guys, is it any surprising that a steady decline in US marriage rates, which is going to get worse? And MGTOW and marriage is having also a profound effect on it. So this looks like a picture that's going to not be shown very much in the future. I naturally put the links below, but it looks though this storm is going to spread across America, and the politicians are going to have to do something about it. Otherwise, once it breaks, there's going to be all sorts of fun and games. I think this video now is on the 10-minute mark, so I'll leave it there and actually put all the links below so you can have a read of it yourself. But that's it for this one, people. You know the routine: like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So until next Monday, that's it for this one. Bye bye.